Chapter 3. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Obviously, the real issue has nothing to do with the fear itself, but rather how we hold the fear. For some, the fear is totally irrelevant. For others, it creates a state of paralysis. The former hold their fear from a position of power, choose energy and action, and the later hold it from a position of pain, helplessness, depression, and paralysis. The chart on the next page illustrates this concept from this. It can be seen that the secret in handling fear is to move yourself from a position of pain to a position of power. The fact that you have the fear then becomes irrelevant. Let's talk about the word power. Some people say that they don't like the concept of power and want to part of it. It is true that in our world the word power has some negative overtones. It often implies control over others and unfortunately is often misused. The kind of power I'm talking about is entirely different. In fact, it makes you less manipulative of those around you and certainly more loving. I'm talking about power within the self. This means power over your perception of the world, power over how you react to situations in your life, power to do what is necessary for your own self growth, power to create joy and satisfaction in your life, power to act, and power to love. This kind of power has nothing to do with anyone else. It is not egomania, but a healthy self love. In fact, egomanias have absolutely no feeling of power, thus, their compelling need to control those around them. Their lack of power leaves them perpetually in a state of fear. Since their survival depends on the outside world, no one is more unloving than a person who can't own his or her own power. Such people spend their lives trying to pull it out of everyone else. Their need creates all sort of manipulative behaviors. The kind of power I am talking about leaves you free, since you don't expect the rest of the world to fill you up. It's not the ability to get someone else to do what you want them to do, it's the ability to get yourself to do what you want to do. If you do not own this kind of power, you lose your sense of peace. You are in a very vulnerable place. I have found that women are more put off than men are by the concept of power for obvious reasons. Men have conditioned to believe that to be powerful is good. Women have been conditioned to believe that to powerful is unfeminine and unattractive. It is my experience that nothing could be further from the truth. A self-assured woman who is in control of her life draws like a magnet. She is so filled with positive energy that people want to be around her. Yet it is only when she was become powerful within herself that she can become authentic and loving to those around her. The truth is that love and power goes together. With power one can really begin to open up the heart. With no power love is distorted. For the woman reading this book, a good antidote to any inner conflict between power and femininity is to repeat to yourself at least 25 times each morning, noon, and night. I am powerful and I am loved. And I am powerful and I am loved. An energizing variation is I am powerful and I love it. So these three statements aloud right now. Feel the energy the words convey. Their constant repetition will help make the concept of power and love more captival and intensely more comfortable. Now that I have explained the kind of power I am talking about, let's explore how to use the pain to power concept in daily life. The first step is to create a pain to power chart as follows. As we look at the pain to power continuum, most of us can place ourselves somewhere in the middle of the chart. We are not really capti- incapacitated by our fears, but we are not exactly feeling a great sense of power and excitement, nor are we quickly sprinting to our goal. We seem to be talking the arduous route over the mountain carrying two suitcases and a watermelon rather than flying on the wings of eagles, as an ancient saga once said. The pathway is smooth. Why do you throw rocks before you? Using the pain to power charts as a frame of reference, you can begin to clear the rocks in front of you. The following steps will help in the clearing process. Number 1. Draw an enlargement of the pain to power charts and place it on your wall. Just the simple act of making the enlargement will make you feel a little more powerful. You are already taking action. Remember that much of the trick of moving from pain to power is taking action. Action is very powerful. Once the chart is on your wall, it will serve as a constant reminder of where you want to go in life from pain to power. Awareness is half the battle. Having the chart physically present will also help you motivate yourself to keep moving in the right direction. Just wait. Point number two, just to keep you from taking yourself too seriously, you might want to write somewhere on your chart, angels fly because they take themselves lightly. I heard this quote by Gilbert Castrian a long time ago, and it still makes me smile. It constantly reminds me that you can drop in awful lot of excess baggage if you learn to play with life instead of fight it. Number three, put a pin at the place on the chart where you see yourself situated. At this moment, in your life, are you in the middle, where you sometimes feel depressed and paralyzed, and at other times feel more in control, or do you definitely find yourself on the far left side, where there is little you are able to do to pull yourself out of the route? Or perhaps you are already on the right side, where most of the time you feel you are really moving ahead with your life, with only a few areas that need to be worked on. I doubt that anyone reading this book has reached their goal of attaining absolute power over the self. Even the Buddhas have their days. There are always new experience that challenges a sense of personal power. Number 4. Each day look at the chart and ask yourself, do I see myself at this same place, or have I moved the pin accordingly? If you keep in mind the direction you want to go, it will help you make decision about what you are doing in your life. Before you take any action in life, ask yourself, is this action moving me to a more powerful place? If it isn't, you will think twice before about doing it. A word of caution: if you go ahead anyway, knowing the action will keep you in a position of pain, don't get angry with yourself about it. Just notice where you are not taking responsibility. The next time you can make a different decision, use your mistake as a learning experience. Remember that each time you get angry at yourself for an action you have taken, you keep yourself on the side of pain. Point 6. Make your use of the chart fun. Having it as a game keeps you light about the situation. If you have children, They can create their own charts, and you can make a family game out of the experience of growing. Point 7, you might want to make different chart for different areas of your life to be really powerful. You need to be in charge of all aspects of your life, your work, relationship, environment, body, and so on. Often people are very powerful in some parts of their lives and pathetic in others. For example, I'm very powerful in terms of my career but needs to work on the area of exercise. Note that your movement on the chart is determined only by your own intuitive sense of how far you are progressing and gaining more power in your life. No one else can judge that, though they may try. Although your life may look exactly the same to the outside world, it is your own sense of internal peace and growth that determine where you are on the chart. It is totally a feeling within. You may wonder if you really need to go to such length to get yourself moving. Trust me, you do. In the beginning, you need all the gimmicks you can get to remind you of where you want to go. You don't become powerful without concentrating on power, as you must have figured out by now. Simply knowing what to do does not mean that you do it, or for that matters, even remember it. To help you on your pain to power path, it is important that you begin to develop a pain to power vocabulary. The way you use words has a tremendous impact on the quality of your life. Certain words are destructive, others are empowering. Choose to move to pain to power vocabulary as follows. I can't. Okay, there is three. Only three pages. I can't implies you have no control over your life, whereas I won't put a situation in the realm of choice from this moment on. Strike. I can't from your vocabulary when you give your subconscious the message I can't. Your subconscious really believe you and register on its computer. Weak. Your subconscious believe only what it hears, not what is true. You might be saying I can't simply to get out of a dinner invitation, such as I can't come to dinner thought I have to prepare for tomorrow's meeting, but your subconscious is registering is weak. In fact, I can't come to dinner is an untruth. The truth is I can come to dinner, but I am choosing to do something that has a higher priority at the moment. But the subconscious can't discern the differences and is still registering a weak. Although you may want to be more delicate to your host than to utter the above statement, you can still stay away from the words I can't. I would love to come to dinner, but I have a meeting tomorrow that's important to me. I will feel better walking in totally prepared, so I will pass for tonight and hope you will invite me again. That statement has truth, integrity, and power. The subconscious hears you stating your priorities with clarity and choosing the outcome that serves your own growth. Choosing this way doesn't leave you the helpless victim of your meeting. I should is another loser. It to implies that you have no choice in life. I could is more powerful. I could visit my mother, but I am choosing to go to the movies today. Let's put things in the realm of choice instead of obligation. I can visit my mother or I can go to the movies. I think I will choose my mother today. Should bring the one guilt and upset. Totally draining emotion. Your power is taken away every time you utter the words I should. It's not my fault is another beauty. Once again, you look helpless. It's better to take responsibility for whatever happens to you in life than always to be the victim. It is not my fault stuck. I got sick. It's not my fault I lost the job. If you are willing to take responsibility, then you might see what you can change in the future. Relative to illness says, I am totally responsible for my illness. Let's say what I can do to prevent it from happening again. I can change my diet. I can reduce stress. I can stop smoking. I can get enough sleep and so on. Watch how powerful you become. The same occurs with the lost job. If you are responsible, you can be better prepared the next time. You can find out what made the difference. You are in control each time you find yourself in a better control of your life. You are moving to a position of power, which will ultimately reduce your fear level. Its problem is another deadening phrases. It's a happy and negative. It's an opportunity opens the door to growth. Each time you can see the gifts in life obstacle, you can handle difficult situation in a rewarding way. Each time you have the opportunity to stretch your capacity to handle the world, the more powerful you become. I hope is another victims perhaps I know has far more power. I hope I will get a job. I know I will get a job. What a difference. The first sets you up for worry and a sleepless night. The second has peace and calm about it. If only is boring, you can hear the within behind it. Next time implies that you have learned from the situation and will put the learning to use another time. For example, it only if only I hadn't said that a Tom can be restated. I have learned Tom is sensitive about this issue. Next time I will be more sensitive. What will I do? What will I do? Again, you can hear the whine and the fear implied in these words. You, like everyone else, have incredible source of power within that you haven't used before. I would serve you to say to yourself, I know I will handle it. I have nothing to worry about. Instead of I have lost my job, what will I do? Try I have lost my job. I know I will handle it. It's terrible is bandied around in the most inappropriate circumstances. For example, I lost my wallet. Isn't that terrible? What's so terrible about losing a wallet? It's certainly an inconvenience. It's hardly terrible. I gained 2 pounds. Isn't that terrible? It's hardly terrible to gain 2 pounds. Yet that's the way we talk about trauma in our lives, and our subconscious is registering disaster. Replace its travel with its learning experience. While you might feel more justified in saying it's a travel if I loved one has cancer, keep in mind that this attitude takes away your power to deal with the situation. There are many who have learned important things from the experience. I know because I am one of those people. My experience of cancer taught me many wonderful things about myself and the people around me. Most important, I learned how much I was loved. I saw a tender side of my fiance, now my husband, I had never seen before, and our love deepened immensely. We stopped taking each other for granted. Also, I have changed my life in many positive ways. I have become much more aware eater. I have learned how to eliminate the anger, resentment, and the stress that was very much a part of my daily life. Prior to my illness, my cancer experience has given my husband and me an opportunity to contribute something to this world. I wrote a very positive article about my mastectomy, which I know has been of value to many men and women. My husband and I have appeared on television together to relate our experience, bringing reassurance to viewers. So you see, cancer can be a great learning experience and an opportunity to give. You get the picture. Begin eliminating the troubles, cannot, uh, can't, problem, struggle, and so on from your vocabulary. Maybe these semantic difference seems trivial, but I assure you that they are not. Not only does your sense of yourself change with a more powerful vocabulary, and also does your presence in the world. People who displayed an inner strength are treated differently from those who came across as weak. The more powerfully you speak, the more you will be a force in the world around you. As you begin to monitor your vocabulary, you can also bring more power into your life by expanding your comfort zone. What does that mean? Most of us operate within a zone that feels right. outside of which we are uncomfortable. For example, we might spend $75 for a pair of shoes, but $100 would make us nervous. We might be willing to initiate friendship with people at the office who are at our level in the company, but would be uncomfortable doing so with one of the higher ups. We might go to the local deli when eating alone, but would feel really uncomfortable in a luxurious restaurant all by ourselves. We might ask for a $5,000 raise, but $7,000 would make us cringe. We may charge $30 an hour for our service, but we don't feel we are worth $35 and so on. For each one of us, that zone of comfort is different. But whether we are aware of it or not, all of us, rich or poor, low or high on the totem pole, male or female, make decision based on the confines of that comfortable space. I suggest that each day you do something that widens that space for you. Call someone you are intimidated to call, buy a pair of shoes that cost more than you would ever have paid in the past. Ask for something you want that you have been too frightened to ask for before. Take a risk a day, one small or bold stroke that will make you feel great once you have done it. Even if it doesn't work out the way you wanted to, at least you have tried. You didn't sit back powerless, which what starts to happen when you expand your comfort zone. So as the okay, let's talk about drawing. Okay, okay. As the drawing shows, with each risk you take, each time you move out of what feels comfortable, you become more powerful. Your whole life expands to take in what more of what there is in this world to experience. As your builds, so does your confidence. So that stretching your comfort zone becomes easier and easier despite any fear you may be experiencing. The magnitude of the risk you take also expands. In the beginning, you may sign up for one evening course after being out of school for 15 years, and ultimately you may enroll to get your graduate degree. You will be expanding, opening up, becoming bigger, but all at your own pace. As long as you are taking those risks, no matter how small, you are moving yourself to the write on the pen to power charts each night before you go to bed. Plan the risk you are going to take the following day. Close your eyes and in your mind's eye practice doing it. Make your visualization as clear as you possibly can. Also, you go through the day, be aware of where you find yourself hesitating and start planning your future risk based on these observations. If you can push through the hesitation at the moment you recognize it, great. Remember that the more you expand your comfort zone, the more powerful you become. So take only those risks each day that build your sense of self-worth. There are the risks that enhance your ability to deal with your fear. Expand. Whether it feels like it or not, you already have more power than you could ever have imagined. We all have. When I speak of going from pain to power, I'm not talking about pulling the power in from any outside source. Inside of you, just waiting to emerge, is at an incredible source of energy, which is more than sufficient for you to create a joyful and satisfying life. It isn't magic. It is only a process of tapping the energy already there, though you are not aware of it. The exercise contained in this book are designed to lead you to this great source of power. Whether you do them or not is a good clue as to whether you are willing at this time to accept all that is within you. If you are not, don't berate yourself. Just make a commitment to keep working toward it. One day, one way to do this is to read and related this book and other personal growth book until you rid yourself of the negative belief system that are keeping you stuck in your powerlessness. Most of us are filled with old conditions that is keeping us weak. It takes constant repetition for newer and healthier patterns to take hold. You are intently designed to use your personal power. When you don't, you experience helplessness, paralysis, and depression, which is your clue that something is not working as it could. You, like all of us, deserve everything that is wonderful and exciting in life, and those feeling emerges only when you get in touch with your powerful self. This is the end of chapter 3. Tomorrow we will read chapter 4, which is whether you want it or not, it's yours. Thank you very much for listening this.